All right, so I'm going to go over the trades from this morning, finishing the day with $1,926.13. A green day, and I'm definitely grateful for that. As you know from my P&L over the last, well, these are the last 30 days. Been on a nice stretch here. Well, I suppose, I don't know. I had a little bit of a drawdown, recovered that loss, and then I came into another little drawdown. So, these small green days right now are important. One of the things that I often say is that when I'm in a drawdown, number one, stop the bleeding, right? So that means at the bottom of the drawdown, well, that there has to be a bottom. It doesn't keep going. So how do I make it curl? By reducing share size and slowing down. All right, so I reduce share size, I slow down. A smaller red day on the second red day, and then a small green day as I start to come back up, and then another small green day. I'm trading a little more conservatively right now. I'm trying to get green. I'm trying to be careful, not overstay my welcome. And until I've made back about half of the loss, I'm going to stay in this sort of conservative mode. Now, sometimes what happens, as was the case here, I had two very small green days, and then I had, a decent green day here of 6,700. That was just a good day. And then the next day, we had the really hot market, and I did 18,000. So I wasn't really expecting that, but in 2 days, I was all the way back to my high. And then I had 3 more small green days before catching a bigger red day, right? So now I've got to kind of work my way back up. What I don't want to do is follow 2 or 3 small green days with another big red day, because then I'm stair-stepping down, right? So at this point, 10 a.m., I felt like the last couple days, this week in total, has been slow. I've gotten a few trades, but nothing has felt super clean. And so, let's kind of look at what I did today. The first trade of the day was on EDBL. It had news that came out at, this was 8:30. It took a second for it to kind of pop up, but I jumped in it as it started to squeeze here, getting in at 359, 360, and adding all the way up to a high of 387. Scaling into the trade. It was moving higher. So like every 5-10 cents, I was adding a little more, adding a little more, adding a little bit more, and moving my stop up, 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 up. So this is a scaling strategy, and I'm going to teach a class soon, maybe this week if I can squeeze it in. But if not this week, then next week. But I'll teach a class on scaling because it's a question that is frequently asked. And of course, I mean, it's not something that's not already covered in the Warrior Pro curriculum, but I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit and just answer some recent questions on scaling. So anyway, so that's something to look forward to. That'll be coming soon. But so in this case, adding, yes, it moves up my cost basis, but I also move my stop up with it. And then if we get that extension, then with a bigger size, I can capture 10, 15 cents. In this case, I scaled up to about 12,000 shares and captured about 8 cents a share, made $1,000 on that first trade. Got back in and took another trade after the open as it curled up right through here. I got in micro pullback at 4. It did a false halt at 401 and then it pulled back. I got in at 401, actually no, 396, and then added as it broke through 401, adding at 405. And we got to squeeze on this up to 430. But I traded it with a little bit smaller size versus my trade at the open or pre-market, because I was just sort of noticing this pattern of choppiness today. EDBL, when I first traded it, popped up and then pulled back quite a bit. So I was like, I don't know. And then SVRE, I took a trade on this one. That one popped up and then pulled back as well. It's now red on the day. So this one, I got in at $2. It went up to a high of 243, which is pretty nice. I was up 600 on it, but gave back 200 by adding a little too high. So not a big winner on really anything today, but a couple of base hits worked, my way up to $1,900, which is great. I'm happy with that. I'm content with that. And at this point, I would say, given my 2 red days, Thursday, Friday of last week, this is good. Just, solid green days, nothing huge, but just staying focused, staying disciplined, and certainly hopeful that we see some cleaner action at some point this week, but you know, nothing I can really do but be patient and wait. And I know I have my window of trading that I stick to every day, and if something happens outside that window, you know, that's fine, but I'm gonna miss it. So got my trades on EDBL and SVRE, and then that was it. I saw Hoth pop up, but after EDBL and SVRE sort of stalled out, I was like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna go for Hoth. So left that one alone, and yeah, just kind of ended up feeling like we didn't have a very exciting gap scanner and didn't want to push it too hard today. So that's it for me. That's my recap. Reminder, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical. And of course, there's no guarantee you'll find success. Whether you trade with me or you'll learn on your own. So take it slow, practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line, and we'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning.